Hello, this is Shanker, and today I'm going to talk about the conjunction of Saturn and Mercury. This is my series of predictive astrology of my experience of conjunction between planets. I'm not going in a manner which is like a classroom kind of a manner, but whatever I feel is important and what I've seen, I try to, whatever I've visualized or intuitively understood through the various horoscopes I've read in the period of 45 years, I try to put them before you. So today is Saturn and Mercury conjunction. Shani or Budh जब एक साथ होते हैं, these two are very good friends and they do well. Saturn and Mercury together is a good conjunction to have. Like for example, it's in the 7th house. Let's forget the Lagna. I'm just talking about the Rashi. 7th house. 7th house is owned by Venus. The planet which gets exalted there is Saturn. The planet which gets debilitated there is Sun. But Sun debilitated is always not bad. Saturn and Mercury together will make you a very good businessman and a shrewd person. Surya, when it is not exalted, it is debilitated, does not mean that it is bad. It's just that it doesn't give you that ego and that kind of a power, which is a very important planet to give you power in hand. But it will make you a very good businessman. Saturn and Mercury together will give you wealth. So similarly, it is good in the 3rd house. It's also Saturn and Mercury together is also good at the 2nd house, because 2nd house, though the exaltation sign is Moon, and 2nd house is a house which always does well if a person has got a religious disposition. If he believes in God, goes to temple, 2nd house always helps, because the exalted sign of Saturn of the 2nd house is Moon, and Moon is the mother. It doesn't really harm anybody. Planet which is there, which is the which owns the 2nd house in Kalpurush is Venus. Venus is friends of both in Saturn and Mercury, and the planet which is therefore which takes care of your kartatu situations, and which is the controller, overall controller of the 2nd house is Jupiter. So Jupiter always will help Saturn, and Mercury, it will always help intellect. Wisdom helps intellect. Intellect may not help wisdom. Jupiter is wisdom. So wisdom will help intellect. Vice versa may not be true. So it's also good in the 2nd house. So you have to analyze it in this way, where it is good, where it is not good. But Saturn and Mercury is a good conjunction to have. It gives you riches. The most important thing, Saturn and Mercury, irrespective, placed anywhere, will give a person an eagle's eye, an eye to see things, an eye to go into details. And when Mercury is also with it, it gives you a kind, once the person analyzes things, he understands things, he has that, that eagle's eye which I say, and when it lands on a particular thing, it clasps it, usko par kabza kar leta hai. It takes control over it and doesn't leave it. It keeps it with there. Saturn and Mercury together therefore is good, especially till the age of 44 it will do very well. It is also good for your children. It is also gives you good happiness. It's also good for your sister, for your girl child, and also for your father's sister, Bua. So it is also good for them. So Saturn and Mercury together makes good. More impact is of, if the scale is 10, Saturn will have 60%, Mercury will have 40% of his impact. Thus also will be the impact of positive and negative on Saturn and Mercury. If it is not in good houses, it will give you reverse of things which I have told. Till the age of 44, 45, a person does not prosper in his profession, has a tough time in riches, has the intellect, everything, but does not get the right opportunity to show it, which is very frustrating. So Saturn and Mercury together are good, and when placed in a house, forget the Rashi for a moment, in a house. So any house you have to see what it signifies. Like I told you, the 7th house, remember this is the most important thing when you analyze an horoscope. 7th house, it is the 7th sign of Kalpurush. Saturn and Mercury placed in 7th sign. Forget the 7th house, forget the sign. We'll take the sign, but forget the sign for a moment. The 7th house is 7th, which is Lordship is Venus, exaltation sign is Saturn, debilitation sign is the Sun, and also take the Rashi which is there. Combine all these things and then see what Saturn and Mercury will give. it will give you riches, it will make you a good businessman, it may give you a problem with the government, and depending on the Rashi, it will also affect that particular Rashi, but that is the last 25%, that is the last. And the 7th house, the controller, overall control of 7th house is both Mercury and Venus. Mercury and Venus overall control the energy of the sun. Now, if we talk about the energy, which is then 7th house, and who controls it is Mercury and Venus. So whenever Saturn and Mercury is in the 7th house, the overall controller, the energy of is also of Mercury and Venus. Saturn and Mercury makes you, a powerful person. It can also make you a minister. It may not make you the top of the man, but also make you an advisor to a very big, to the king or to an institute. It can make you a good businessman. It will give you wealth and riches. Also give good for your family. It's also good for your children. So it's a good win-win situation. Similarly, Saturn and Mercury in the first house may not be very good. So so you have to see where Saturn and Mercury is placed, and then how it evolves. Also see, further you have to see planets the 5th and 9th. It is the planet in the 11th house. The planets in the 6th and 8th, especially the 8th house, because that is where it clashes. So if there is not a friend in the 8th house, it's going to be a problem. The planets in the 2nd and 12th of Saturn and Mercury also play an important role. So all these planets also have to be seen finally in the final prediction you give. But my idea is just to tell you that Saturn and Mercury together elevates our horoscope, and it's a good combination to have, looking at various other aspects which I've tried to tell you, and this will apply for all my other videos which I keep on telling. Thanks, and bye for now. I hope you like this video. This is Shankar signing out. About me, you can go to my website Shanker, starting with shankerstudy.com. Shanker with the ESHANKER. You want to ask me any questions, not questions, give me any input. In fact, I would say the wrong word. Any input to me on, if there's something which you have come across in terms of some combinations you've seen gives some results always 80 to 90%, or some rare thing which which you have learned through your lineage or through your people, or you learned it through while traveling or meeting people. Please do write to me. I'll put it on the video, and I'll also write it in my books, which I try to write a book a year. So that's the way I do it. Most of the books are published through Prabhat publication, though initially the books were published through Sagar publication, but then it is the Prabhat publication through which most of my books are published for the last decade or so. Thanks, and bye for now. Thank you very much. This is Shankar signing out.